Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to the Video Gamers Podcast. When's the last time you thought about the Roman Empire? Well, today we're going to be diving into the rise of the great Roman Empire, because it's time to deep dive Schedule 1, a game that seemingly came out of nowhere. It's taking over the world and the hearts of wannabe entrepreneurs everywhere. But first, some introductions are in order. I am your host, Josh, and joining me, he's running all over town, slinging them goods and looking out for Keith, who he's got a beef with. It's Ryan.
Bro, Keith, you come on, run up on me, bro. I'll see you on the street. It's going down, brother. Down.
I want my money, Keith.
I want my money, Keith. Pay up.
And joining us, the old man himself. His middle-aged takes are a great glimpse into geriatric gaming, and he almost broke a hip before we started recording. It's Ace.
What did I do to deserve this? Like, who have I wronged today?
You slandered the Minecraft movie, Ace.
Yeah, apparently that means I'm old, I guess.
You wouldn't understand. I'm surprised you know how to use the computer you're on. At your
it's a struggle every day, man. Sometimes I have to call my son over.
Oh my goodness. So all right. So just real quick. So for anybody that doesn't follow our social media, like we made a reel from the Minecraft episode that we did, where it was Ace's opinion on the movie and me talking about the fact that my kids knew that it was going to be a bad movie. For some reason, this reel has caught fire. It is going like gangbusters. I mean, at the time of this recording, it's over like 60,000 views, 1,100 likes. But every single comment are people that are upset with us for being old guys talking about Minecraft. We have no business talking about Minecraft. And Ace has gotten lumped in with us. Ace, you're 24, 25?
I'm 25.
Yeah. And so Ace has just gotten lumped in with the old guys that are me and Ryan. And we have just been mercilessly just picking on Ace ever since then. So
It's just been a brutal day, guys.
yeah.
I've been called a soulless ginger and reject Seth Rogen. I don't know.
It's the cost of fame, brother. That's what happens, man.
That's the price you pay, man. So.
I'm not going to lie. I did have a lot of fun reading through those comments, just giggling. I'm like, yes, this is awesome.
Oh, my
That's because you got left out of it.
I did. I'll take it.
So anyway, help us pick on Ace, hop in our server, wish him a happy 50th birthday, whatever you want to do there. But
we'll help him with his phone too, so he can read it.
And Ace,
come on.
To be fair, Ace did fall out of his chair just prior to us hitting record, and so the almost breaking hip part was maybe close to true.
That's not on video. You can't prove it. That totally didn't happen. You can't prove it.
Oh, that's right. We weren't recording.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So
what are you gonna do?
Well, welcome in, everybody. It is the long-awaited Schedule 1 deep dive. This is going to be a lot of fun to talk about. We have been playing this together an awful lot. It is funny because I have friends and family that have picked this game up, and they are playing like with their kids and their wives and stuff like that. And we have seen a ton of chatter from our community about Schedule 1 and people asking, are you going to cover it? And it's like, yeah, we've been playing it. And it is time to cover the game. I will start off this episode by saying, Schedule 1 is a game that is about being a drug dealer and growing your drug empire. We are a clean podcast. We will keep things clean, but the subject matter by nature does involve dealing with drugs and slinging drugs and dealing with Keith and maybe Ryan punching him and getting shanked. So there will be the topic by nature is mature. So if you're listening with your kids and you'd rather not, have them listen to you right now, there is your warning. Otherwise, like I said, we always keep it clean so you don't have to worry about that. So now that we've got the disclaimer out of the way, one of the things that we have been asking for and everybody has been responding with is reviews. Man, we promise we're going to get caught up on some of these. We have a couple more reviews to read right at the top of the show. And so we're going to start off with those. Ryan, you've got one. We're going to start with you, buddy.
I do. Awesome. So this one's from Grizzly Team 6. Nice 5-star review, and it's titled A True Gamers Podcast. And this review reads, I really like this podcast. I listen to every new episode, and it definitely makes the 12-hour workday feel not as miserable. This podcast hits home because they talk about the classics that I grew up with playing and honorably mentions a peak of gaming when midnight releases were the best feeling in the world, and someone calling the house phone while playing with your friends online was the worst feeling in the world. We definitely know that and have experienced that. Other gaming podcasts I've listened to like to get off subject about things and go completely irrelevant, but these guys stay on topic and have really good conversations about all things gaming. Hot take, Lord of the Rings PS2 games were the best co-op games of all time and are ones that truly deserve a remaster.
Ooh.
Which I know that I played a whole crap load of Lord of the Rings co-op on there, and it was awesome.
I somehow missed the Lord of the Rings game between the real-time strategy one that everybody said, Battle for Middle-earth, I think it's called. And I missed them somehow,
so good.
man, and everybody loves them. So maybe
I haven't played a single Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah,
Not
that was
one.
Yeah, it's because you're too old, Ace.
I was
I missed it. Is that?
Yeah, you missed it. It was after your time.
I would say, as the resident old head, I can definitely, sympathize with the phone and the disconnecting
you
from
and
the
Gandalf
internet.
just sitting in the retirement home. So. All right, so this one comes in from Sam is the GOAT. It's titled So Great, and it says, thank you for actually watching the trailers and playing all these games. So far, it's been the best gaming podcast, but if you could make this on YouTube and then add like a video of yourself and then edits and add all the good stuff, then you would by far be the best gaming podcast I've ever seen. And that is saying a lot considering I've seen 127 podcasts, I think. It is also a dream podcast to listen to if you have time to kill and have already finished all your video games, obviously. It's super family friendly and a great thing to listen to with your friends who like video games. I hope. See ya. P.S. Please put this review on your next episode. Thank you. At next 50 episodes, somewhere in there. I said we're behind a little bit.
We may be a little behind.
I got great news for him, though. Hey, we're on YouTube.
Wait, I was going to say,
There you go.
we're
Right
on
here.
YouTube. We are Spotify video. So if you're watching or if you're listening on Spotify right now, it should default to video, but if it doesn't, you can literally tap the button that says watch the podcast and you get to see our handsome young faces and then Ace's old
Yeah, and then
face.
me.
But,
Yeah.
so.
I apologize in advance.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm so sorry. Don't show your children.
Man. So, all right. So, guys, and then as promised, also, we have a quick question. We're getting to these quick questions, and this one comes in from HG Knight, epic supporter of the show. And his question was, if you could go back and save a game from disaster, be it corporate greed, a bad release date, poor execution, etc., what would you save? I would want Anthem to live up to its full potential. I know my answer on this one, so I'll jump in while you two think about it. Number one, Anthem was a fantastic game for 8 hours. I hate that game fell apart. But to be different than HG Knight and not say Anthem, I'm just going to say the Battlefield franchise at this point. We've mentioned that many times on the show. Battlefield has completely lost its way. They got greedy and they forgot what made Battlefield what it was. And I want the Battlefield franchise to return to its glory days because with all of the people that we have been playing with in our community and, just each other with games every night, I miss having a squad in Battlefield to just run around and cause chaos with. So
That's a solid answer. That's probably what I would have gone with, but I'll go with something a little different. I don't know if this was necessarily any sort of corporate greed or just like bad planning or the way they executed it, and maybe it's better now. I don't know, it's been a while, but the Elder Scrolls Online, I was in the alpha, the beta. I played everything from that game because I knew when I was playing Oblivion and Skyrim, and I was just like, man, if I could just play this game with other people, this would be the best thing ever. And I tried it, and I'm like, this is not good at all. That really sucks, So, like, I just wish it was executed a little bit better to where it was just, I don't know, it was just so boring and wide open, and there really wasn't a lot there. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've checked it out, so maybe it's different now. But at launch, I was very much disappointed with kind of how that came to be.
I tried to get into the Elder Scrolls Online and I could not. It was too easy. Honestly, that was my biggest complaint, is like combat was meaningless, and in a game like Elder Scrolls, when the combat had no purpose. Like, I don't think I died once in like 30 levels or whatever it is, and then I was
If
just
a giant's not launching me 400 feet in the air, then like,
Exactly.
is it really Elder Scrolls? You know, like
exactly. So, all
I
right,
have
Ace, what about you?
I have friends who've played the Elder Scrolls Online. They really enjoy it, but I've never asked them why they enjoy it because I have no interest in the Elder Scrolls. Oddly enough, I'd like to go back and try to save the first quadruple A title ever in existence.
Skull and
That's a good one.
Bones.
I would
huh?
like for Skull and Bones to have been a good game because we don't have a good pirate
that's a good
game.
one.
That is a good pick, Ace.
Yeah, I feel like Sea of Thieves comes close, but it just doesn't have any kind of reward for doing anything.
Why can't we have an amazing pirate game, man?
Apparently, it's impossible.
Not that hard, man. Is it? Is it that hard? Is it the sailing and then the land? Because Skull and Bones went, man, forget about the land. We're just sailing all the
Skull and
time.
Bones.
You know?
It's like, oh, you don't want to walk on the land. You just want to sail all the time.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. It's so weird that we're about to have like Dune Awakening, which is an MMO. I mean, all of these, and nobody can make a fantastic pirate game. And I know all of the Sea of Thieves fans are going, but Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is fine. There's zero progression in the game. That's the biggest complaint we have with it.
Okay, Boomer. What are you
gonna
joining
say,
Ace, you old man?
we're
Like,
gonna
look at
make
what an
real
old
out of
man
that.
takes.
Sea of Thieves is a mid game. There we go. There's another.
You know, I have bad news. I don't think that's going to get near as much traction.
Probably so.
Oh man, I did joke around that I was like, well, we're just the Rage Bait podcast
Yeah,
now.
wow.
Apparently, say one thing that people disagree with, and that's that. Now, we have always said, listen, we can't help it. We're always going to be honest. We're going to give what we think on a game. Doesn't mean that we're right or wrong. It's just our opinion on something. And boys, it is time to give our opinion on Schedule 1. Whoo, let's do this, man. So, Ryan, why don't you just describe what Schedule 1 is to anybody that may not be familiar with this business-like game?
Well, have you ever wanted to, start and build your own empire from scratch?
Yeah.
Well, Schedule 1 is the ticket for you. You boot up into this world that the biggest thing that I love about this and how this game plays out is it's this kind of it's not really like I wouldn't say a survival, type crafting game, but you're crafting, you're exploring the town, you're making up, you're starting your drug empire. Like I said, you are advancing your way up the ladder within the neighborhood, and you're in this area. Cops are after you. Cops are searching around. You got to go around. You got to make your deals. You have to hide from the cops. If they get on you, you got to run from the cops. You have your home base. So it has a nice set of progression as you go through this world, kind of entry level, and it just goes up and up and up as you build your empire. So it's definitely one of those cooler type. I don't know. Well, how would you describe what you would call
game.
it?
It's
It's
a progression,
simulator
economic
progression kind of game.
Simulator style, drug simulator, basically.
Yeah, it is
can't say
drug
that.
simulator,
You're
but
gonna get 'em
no,
sued,
it's
Ryan.
not.
Yeah, I'm gonna get sued again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, that in its simplicity, it is a game that is just based off of progression. You start off as a little small time drug dealer trying to move your first bag of weed. And before you know it, you're buying, huge houses and trying to make more space so that you can produce and grow and manufacture other stuff that you can then sell to people. You acquire money. And then you get upgrades, and that's really like the basic gameplay loop on this. I mean,
Basically,
as simple as it is,
it's a pretty simple game.
yeah. In theory, it is. Now, there's a lot that you can do in it that makes it enjoyable and kind of adds to the gameplay elements on this. But yeah, I think that is the gist of the game. You are trying to go from a small time nobody to building your drug empire. The game has a very good tutorial that it kind of puts you through that introduces you to the mechanics, which I think is great. It's fun right off the rip. I mean, you get to talk to your uncle who is, a bad guy. If you've ever wanted to play Breaking Bad, that's the best way to describe Schedule 1. Like, it really is. It's just
Breaking Bad Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, that really is it. You don't know what you're doing. You just kind of figure it out along the way, and then off you go. So we did get a chance to all play this together. I think Ace and I don't remember if Ryan was right there on the very first tutorial or not.
I was not in the first little opening tutorial.
Yeah, you and I started first. We got through the tutorial and got things, hit the ground running, as it were.
the fun. So this is where we knew this game was going to be fun. Is right off the bat, you have to, go and learn the game mechanics, but then you come back and it says, "Hey, let's make your character." And half the fun was Ace and I just giggling as we're looking through all the options for this character creator. And anybody that's been listening to the show for a while knows I could care less about what my character looks like. I don't generally spend a whole lot of time in there. But man, Ace and I are just like, I am trying to make my guy look as cracked out as possible. You can adjust things like the size of your pupils, how red your eyes are, how low your eyelids hang.
Oh, the eyelids got me. The eyelids are so funny, man.
Ace winds up, and we don't know what we're making. We can't see each other until it's done. And then we load in, and I went with the most cracked out looking guy with just these big buggy eyes, and his pupils are huge. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to look like I'm just tweaking nonstop. And then Ace loads in, and he is naked Willie Nelson, basically. This old guy, fittingly, this old guy with no clothes on, with gray hair that just can barely open his eyes. And I was like, okay, man, this game is going to be a good time.
I thought it was he looked almost identical to if Rick from Rick and Morty was just a pothead.
Yeah.
That was with long hair. That was his character, which was awesome to see running around.
Yeah.
It was fun making that character, I'll say. Finding out I could just go in with no clothes and nothing but sandals was probably the best part.
Yeah. Yep. So like I said, the game has a good tutorial. It kind of walks you through things. It makes you realize that there's probably a little bit further scope or scale in this game than originally thought, because you get in a truck and you start driving, and like you said, Ryan, it teaches you kind of how to avoid the police and how to find the people that you're looking for and stuff like that. So you get through the tutorial, and then it puts you into the actual game itself. And this is the city where Schedule 1 takes place. It kind of drops you off. You have an RV of all cliche things that is straight out of Breaking Bad. I'm pretty sure it's the exact RV out of Breaking Bad. They did that on purpose. And then they say, hey, go build your empire, man.
Yeah.
And so what's the first thing that happens, Ryan? Do you remember?
I wasn't there for it.
He wasn't here.
That's right. You joined us a little bit later. That's right.
Did. And so when I hopped in, I'm looking, and you guys got the apartment up there and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking around at the map. I'm like, how do because I didn't go through the tutorial. I just hopped in, and just hopped right in. Let's see what happens. And so, I look and I was like, guys, we have an RV, and you're like, oh no, that's burned down.
Yeah,
that thing caught fire and it's burned down. I was like, oh, okay, never mind then. So the RV catches on fire. So I don't know what you guys did, but you ruined our RV.
It wasn't us, man.
Nah,
it was the rival empires.
The rivals.
Man.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, all right. So you get dumped into this town. The game kind of points you in the right direction. It has a neat mechanic where every time that there's something new to introduce, the game, your uncle calls you and says, hey, I hear you're making a name for yourself. Here's an upgrade. You need to start, thinking about growing your own weed and maybe distributing that to make some money. So he always calls you on a payphone and points you in the right direction, which I think is great. And you need a place to stay. So Ace, what's the very first place that you get in this game?
You get a hotel that's like $75 a week or something like that. It's the greatest deal I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah. So you get this hotel room and you start realizing that, oh, okay, this is where our base of operations is. And this is where you get to kind of plunk down, grow tents and mixing stations and bagging stations and stuff like this. And this is where the kind of crafting element of Schedule 1 comes in. I'm a sucker for crafting games, and progression games. I mean, we have said a gajillion times, I love good progression. I like crafting, even though I'm not much of a base builder kind of guy. But if you dangle a carrot in front of me and say, hey, go try to reach this step, I am just chasing, ooh, give me that. Wait, there's another strain of weed that we'll be able to unlock? How do I get there?
Let me call the supplier.
Right. And so Ace, why don't you kind of carry us through some of the, just the early gameplay elements, maybe like you said, you do have a supplier, there's a warehouse, or a hardware store. I mean, you've got your motel room. Kind of carry us through the very beginning, kind of getting set up and getting your feet under you on this game.
Well, like you said, in the beginning, you have the hotel room, which is your first base of operations. It's not a ton of room, but it's enough. So you'll go down to the hardware store. You'll buy your first grow tent, call your supplier and get your first set of pot seeds or whatever. I think it's OG Kush is your very first strain. And man, they love it. They love that Kush. But in order to sell any of it, you've got to get customers first. So you need to walk around the town and hand out free samples and be like, hey, you like this? I know where you could get some more. And they're like, yeah, I love this. I'll call you for sure. Or they'll tell you, get out of here.
The best part about this is when you are trying to build your customer base, like you said, Ace, you do have to give them a free sample. Everybody knows the first time's free and then you got to pay. That's what we were told growing up, right? The drug dealer is the first time they'll give it to you and then you got to pay after that. Well, Schedule 1 leans into that. But the hilarious part is the first time you give something to somebody and they try it, they just instantly go from a normal person to just their eyelids are half closed, their eyes turn blood red, they start walking slower.
We got some good stuff, man. I don't know.
That's when you're just oh my goodness, this game is really just leaning into this, man.
In the best way possible.
Yeah,
it is absolutely.
It is. It's definitely. And it's based on too, a lot of the different strains, if you will, have a lot of different effects. And so then a lot of those, change when you give them the sample and they may like it or not like it. And it's so awesome to see the reaction, real time on the spot, right when you give it to them. And that's kind of some of the beef me and Keith have. And we'll go over that later.
Don't you worry.
We'll get to the Keith beef. Yeah, don't worry.
Just a little bit. So anybody that enjoys a crafting progression based type of game, Schedule 1 is very likely going to be up your alley. This is what's funny to me, right? Is my brother Andy, his sons are gamers. We he's my nephew. We play a lot of games together and stuff like that. Well, Andy saw that Schedule 1 was, taking over the world and he was very curious and wanted to jump in. And then the next thing you know, he's just like, dude, we are having so much fun. My nephew's playing, my sister, is playing, she's doing all the house stuff, growing the plants and all this stuff. Andy and my nephew are running around town, slinging all this. And it is that satisfying of a gameplay loop. I thought this game was going to be dumb. It looks like Roblox type graphics. I'm just man, this is just going to be stupid. It's going to be dumb. But then you look at the Steam reviews, guys. And one of you looked at it. What's it at right now?
It's
98?
97,000.
Yeah,
97,000 overwhelmingly positive on Steam.
97,000 reviews. And
yes.
Is that a 98%? What's the percentage?
The percentage is
overwhelmingly is 96 and higher, I think.
Yeah, on Steam DB it's 97.
97%.
Yeah, 97.
So,
yeah, that's what it says.
When you have 100,000 reviews on a game and a game is sitting at 97% positive rating, there's very little to dislike about a game. That doesn't mean that this game is Red Dead Redemption 2 or anything like that by any means, but there probably is some truth to all of those reviews that are saying, hey guys, this game is just dumb fun. And it's dumb fun.
You know how many people right now think that it's dumb fun? 295,000 people are in the game right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have we mentioned that this game is indie and done by a solo
A
dev.
solo developer made Schedule 1, and it's a good game, guys.
Yeah.
I want to get into some of the fun stuff, but we got to take a very quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about some of the stuff that just makes this game enjoyable. All right, we're back. We're talking Schedule 1. We've kind of chatted about the early part of this game and getting set up. Now, one of the things that we didn't talk about on this is that the town that you're in is alive. There is a time of day. You can do different things during different times of day. When night comes around, there is a police curfew that goes into effect, and the police are out in force. And this is where you start to have to kind of be stealthy if you're out and about making your drug deals and selling things and stuff like that. The game gives you a phone to kind of manage stuff. Don't be dumb like me and Ace and not realize that there's very important things you can do on your phone. Like maybe if you happen to develop a new strain that you're trying to sell to people and it's worth a lot more money, and you keep wondering why everybody just wants that OG Kush and they won't want to buy your nice new fancy Granddaddy Purple that you have. Well, that's because you probably didn't go into your little cell phone and go to the products tab and say, hey, I have this for sale now. We were 15 hours into this, Ace, before we realized this.
That took way too long to figure out that we messed that up.
We're like, why is this all they want? And they were like, that's all we've had. That's all we're selling, man. And I had so much that I'm just like, I'm just going to go broadcast everything to everybody. And I had like 8 different strains with me, and I'm just running around and just giving stuff to everybody. I'm like, they gotta get hooked on it. Like, it's good. You want some crack cake or whatever it was called, or all these different. And I'm watching everybody do all these crazy like reactions when I give them samples. It was wild.
Yeah.
I mean, we just started giving out the Granddaddy and just like, I hope it passes the skill check or whatever.
Yeah, and it would not. Sometimes, like,
No.
so the way that you go, because like, let's be honest, the sales and the actual selling of these drugs that you're making is a major part of the game.
Absolutely.
And the way that it handles that is you get text messages from people that say, hey, I want to buy 4 bags of OG Kush, or until you figure out that you can list something different, it's just going to be OG Kush forever.
Yep.
And,
It will.
and then once you list another product, they go, oh, well, I'll start buying that. So people will text you and say what they want to buy. And then you have to then say, okay, and you can negotiate pricing. So there's a little bit of like negotiation there. And then once you confirm, they'll say, okay. And then you set a time of day that you will meet them. And then you literally have to run through town and go meet them wherever they said they'll be waiting for you. And just like any kind of drug game, there's people standing behind trees and behind this building just waiting for you. And you walk up and, you interact with them, and then it's time to make the deal. And you give them the however many baggies they ordered. They give you the cash. They blaze up right away, and then they walk away. That's kind of the loop for the customers. But like we hinted at, they're not always happy. And if you try to give them something that they didn't ask for, or you try to short them, things can go awry. And that is where Keith comes in, because this game does allow you to throw punches as well, which Ryan discovered after Keith told him, hey, I don't like your product. Ryan, what happened?
So in addition to punches, you can also, I guess, use knives and bats and all these other crazy things. So I was still kind of new to it when I first met Keith. I was trying to just, go out and market and do like a good, entrepreneur would. So I see a guy and I'm like, hey, buddy, do you want to try some of this? Oh, you have these because when you click on somebody, they have their type of reaction they want, if you will. So they're and different strains have those different types of reactions. Some have sleepy, power, blah 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 blah, based on what you mix into it. So I gave him what he wanted. This is what he was listed under, and then he just goes, "Ugh, that's garbage." Blah blah blah, and he was talking mad smack to me after I gave him some free.
Talk about our product, man.
Yeah, I was giving him some free stuff, and he's talking smack to me. So then I said, guys, this guy's showing us a little bit of disrespect. What should I do? Josh immediately is like, dude, no, punch him.
Teach him a lesson.
Dude. Yeah. Josh is like, teach him a lesson. And I'm like, yeah, this is our turf. That's right. Yeah. And I was like, all right, Keith, let's square up. Boom. I pop him right in the dome. And then he like falls back. And then Keith gets up. all of a sudden, Keith decides he's going to pull out a knife.
Wait. Yeah, I want to tell this from Ace and I's side of you because we're at the apartment, manufacturing stuff, and we hear Ryan go like, "Yeah, what's up, Keith? Boo! Oh, he's got a knife! Oh, Keith! Oh, he shanked me! He shanked me!" And all we hear is you getting shanked by Keith.
Yeah, he did have a knife, and he did shank me, and then because I still hadn't experienced that in the game yet, so I was totally got off guard when I just see him whip out, and he's got a knife in his hand, and I'm like, is that a knife? Oh, it is a knife, and he just shanks me right there, and I was like, ah! And then I definitely ran away and just booked it after that, but these characters are pretty crazy out in them streets, man. The streets are tough.
I mean, you can also get them addicted to the point where they will come to your base and be like, you got anything at all? I'll take it.
Yeah, Keith showed up at our house, our doorstep. We had just moved. So, like I mentioned, the progression, you start off with this tiny little hotel room that you then can kind of move into an apartment. You then get to move into a bungalow. And it's every time you move up, you're so happy. You're like, oh my goodness, we've got space to do what we need.
Got so much room for activities.
Yeah, and
I can grow so much meth here.
You're out of room all of a sudden. So the house was a big step up for us. But we opened the door and there's cracked out Keith standing on our doorstep with his eyes all bugged out. He's like, I don't care, man. Just give me something. Give me something. And we know at this point Keith is crazy, so we're like, dude, we got to get rid of Keith, man. So we just gave Keith whatever we had, and then
we were scared of him. We thought he was a
scary guy.
But I will say that as dumb as it is, the different characters that are wandering around town kind of help make this game.
What's the panhead guy? What's the one?
Oh, that's Crank. Is that Dan? Funky Dan, I think is
Cranky
Dan, he walks around with just underwear and then like a vest and then a pan on his head or a pot on his head.
Yeah. He's crazy.
There's Jessie. Jessie is the girl that looks like she has just been living in a gutter. She's down at the end of the motel. She will buy anything that you've got for her. But I'm just like, Jessie girl, you need to get you some help, man. You are looking rough, man.
And let's not forget about our boy Benji.
Yeah. Benji's the goat.
He was our dealer. He was the one who made our process really work when we couldn't figure out how to sell nothing.
Yes.
Benji had it under control. He knew what to do.
So that's kind of a neat point about, again, kind of towards the progression of the game and the characters that you run into is you do get to unlock people that will deal your drugs for you.
Yep.
So kind of explain that process and how that works and why it's such a good thing, Ace.
Well, while you're progressing, obviously, this is something you really want is to be able to make money faster and faster and faster. And, eventually you're going to run out of strains from the provider that you currently have who only gives you, a certain amount of weed seeds, certain amount of things a day. So as you go through the game, you're going to get new providers and dealers, which are the biggest game changer I think this game has to offer, is the ability to set a client list under these dealers, fill their inventory up, and just have them go make passive income for you, basically. They'll make all the deals, they'll go meet up with the clients, and then you get the proceeds. It's a win-win situation.
Dude, it's awesome. I would roll around. You guys would be getting, all the stuff from the hardware store and getting baggies and getting, all the gross stuff and soil. And then I'd just be running around slinging, whatever I could. And I'd swing by Benji, pick up what he has. He's got like $1,400. I'm like, all right, sweet. I grab the money, stock him back up, come back to base, drop off, and then just kind of loop that over and over again. And it was so awesome. Every time I'd roll up, I'd be like, dang, Benji, good job, brother.
Benji's the man, dude.
Yeah, he's a real one, guys.
he would go out. He'd just do his business. He takes 20%. So there is a cost to having Benji. But yeah, there was nothing greater than being really low on money and then being like, oh, let's go check our dealer, guys. And you swing by and Benji's got $1,200 cash sitting on him. And then you're like, here you go, Benji. Like you take the money, you give him some more product, and then Benji just keeps working, man.
And he was able to sell the stuff like that we were not advertising somehow.
Yeah.
He was successfully selling the stuff even though he didn't have it. I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, it works.
This game does give you options on how to make your empire efficient. Later on in the game, you can hire different people to do things around your house, which we discovered you can hire like a botanist to plant all the seeds for your marijuana plants and then water them and then harvest them. And one of the things that we haven't talked about, and I love this aspect of this game, everything you do in this game is a mini game. Now, that doesn't mean that it's complicated, because some of these are very, very simple, but even something like filling up a water bucket so that you can water your plants is a little mini game. Takes you to a little screen, push the faucet, fill up the bucket, that kind of stuff. Watering the plants, you gotta click and hold and then kind of drag it so it tips the water pot, and then you got to move it around to these little targets and stuff like that. I love these little touches to keep people engaged. Is it busy work? Absolutely. It's busy work.
Yeah, but I loved it.
At the same time, exactly, it gives you something to do, but it also ties into the progression, because you later on get like automatic waterers and automatic like soil distributors and things like that. So there's, again, that carrot where you're constantly going like, oh my goodness, we don't have to play the stupid water mini game to keep everything like hydrated. I'll spend $300 on an automatic water kind of thing. And so
I paid my time, man. We did our, it's so cool too. Cause like, even like clipping the bud, off, you're like,
yep.
And you're bringing it in, and then packaging. I'm like,
the packing little mini
the first time,
so much fun.
dude, the first time I packed with the Mark II, I was like, oh my God, guys, this is the greatest thing ever.
I love that thing.
This is amazing. I'm like, watch. And it would seal it and shoot it to the side. I'm like, yeah, once again. And I just do 20. I'm like, I'm doing more. And I go and get more and then come back and package more. It's just, that's so wild when the busy work is like exciting and fun,
But every time you do it, you realize that you're about to make money. Like, everything goes towards the process of you being able to sell these drugs to make money so that you can then get your upgrades that you want, get the convenience items that you want, and at the end of every day, because you do have to sleep in your bed to kind of end a day, but you get experience points that say, hey, you go from being like a little street rat to like a hoodlum to like a dealer. And every time you go up in level, new items unlock in the game that you can purchase either from the hardware store or like a gas station, or maybe you finally made enough connections with the people in town that they introduce you to a new provider, like supplier, so that now you can get pseudo pills. And as soon as you get pseudo pills, you're like, oh, we're on our way to making meth, boys.
I know what to do with these.
And this game does not shy away. I mean, you go from, selling your weed empire to then, going into like, hey, it's time to make more money. And how do we do that? We got to sell harder stuff. And before you know it, you're manufacturing meth and you're giving it to your dealers, and you're making a lot of money. But now everybody in town's starting to get a pretty severe addiction.
Yep.
And you see it, and like where people start looking, they don't look so good anymore, man.
There's like trash everywhere. You're like,
there's trash all over this city.
Yeah. What did I do?
So, the fun part is the cops in the game. Like, honestly, they add just enough layer of like, oh no, watch out. Because if you try to, there's cops that wander around all the time. Even if there's not a curfew going on, there's cop checkpoints that you have to try to either sneak through or go around. If you try to make a drug deal with somebody and there are cops nearby, sometimes you can't see them. Like, if you're kind of behind some trees and you don't see the cops, but they're close enough, they will bust you. I have had many a foot running around from the cops because I didn't see them and I was slinging something to somebody and they saw a drug deal go down. And this is very much kind of GTA style, where you have kind of like it'll say, hey, you're under arrest, and then you have to flee long enough for that to kind of, go away, and then you're clear again. But the cops in the game really do add that layer of just tension, because it makes it to where you can't just do whatever you want to do at any time. And so especially if you're slinging at night, you have to watch out, because if you're out after curfew, if they see you at all, you're in trouble. And
it's on site.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I love that little bit of danger that it adds to the game. I like that there is that risk. Like, do I go out at night and try to fulfill all these orders to people, but I got to dodge the cops? But if I get arrested, then they take everything that you've got, they fine you big time, and you lose everything at the same time. So I do like that risk reward that brings in.
But you do get that incentive. Like there is a bonus.
There is,
if it's after curfew, you get that bonus on your deals and stuff, which you're like, do I want the bonus? Do I not want the bonus? Like, that's, there's another carrot for you, Josh.
Yeah. Dude, I'm a sucker for it, man. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
the same way.
We played the heck out of this game for a while, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just hour sessions at a time, like hours at a time, where just, we got to get this. We got to get this. and then you start making it. You're dealing meth, you're dealing this high strain, high value weed. You've kind of got everything just rocking and rolling. You've got it down to a science, especially if you're playing with friends, which I highly recommend. Grab at least one buddy to play this with.
Yeah.
Because that really highlights where this game shines, in my opinion. And that's kind of the cooperative nature, because you're constantly let's be honest, this game's a little grindy, right? I think we all agree that it's a little grindy to plant seeds and water plants and harvest plants and bag them up and then go sell them, rinse and repeat until you have enough money for some kind of upgrade. It is great when you get that Mark II bagging station, because now instead of one little baggie at a time, you're doing like 5 at a time, and it's a different mini game for that. But there is just an inherent grind in any kind of game like this. And when you've got a buddy, and we fell into this role perfectly, which I loved, dude. Like for when it was the 3 of us, Ryan was the drug dealer. Ryan was the guy that was running around town, slinging stuff to everybody, checking on Benji, making sure Benji's got product, collecting the money. Ace and I are doing the manufacturing. We're just cranking out the pots, making sure these plants are growing as fast as possible. I'm making runs to the hardware store, and it's like you're really able to kind of work together, if you've got buddies to do it with. Even Ryan, when you weren't on, Ace was the guy managing the house and the grow operations, and then I was the one that was out slinging all of it, making the money, bringing back baggies. Oh my goodness, you're always running out of baggies.
Dude, I think I probably bought 5,000 baggies.
That's crazy, man.
It was so many.
Yeah.
And I was always in the house.
I do want to say one of the funniest things, and this has to do with all of this stuff, is that to get on a game with my family-friendly podcast hosts, and I hear, because I was a little bit, behind. I missed the tutorial part, so they were already kind of rocking and rolling in the very beginning of the game. And to hear Josh and Ace talking about, hey, we need to get more baggies. Hey, we need soil for the next OG Kush.
Granddaddy Purple.
We got Granddaddy Purple. We need to go. I need to get more seeds because our dealer's this. Oh, we got a deal coming up here. We gotta stock back up Benji before we do that. And just to hear like the drug talk was the funniest thing in the world for me for like 2 hours. I was like, I can't stop laughing. This is like the greatest thing ever. It was hilarious.
My wife was just like, "What are you playing?" You know what I mean? What are you playing? And my kids, because they're gamers, are like, "Oh, Dad's playing Schedule 1." But I mean, it is literally the funniest thing to just be shouting and being like, "Yeah, boys, we can make meth now. We're making meth, yeah."
There are some very out of context things in our Discord right now about making meth.
Yes. And what's really funny is at one point, so we unlock pseudo, but we don't know what to do with the pseudo. We don't know where to get the pseudo. So we're like, well, I'll just Google it, how to get pseudo to make meth. And then I was like, whoa, no, back. Schedule 1 video game, where to get more pseudo video game, Schedule 1 video game.
Every search needed to start with the words Schedule 1 video game.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, man. But yes, I will say, like, a lot of the people that we've talked to have just been enamored with this game. But the conversation, Jesse, you ain't looking so good, girl. You need to lay off that Granddaddy Purple, girl. You might need to take a little bit of a break, and then she's sitting there, Cranky Frank's walking around with a pan on his head. Now, the funniest part is, when you start getting into the slightly harder stuff, if you give it to somebody, or these strains, because you can add additives to anything that you make. And at one point, we put a bunch of additives in something and we gave it to a lady, and she just completely changed color. You know what I mean? Like she had been the same lady the whole game, and then all of a sudden she's just a complete, her hair's a different color, her skin's a different color, and we were like, what happened to Miss Ming, man?
I remember.
Yeah. And then
we couldn't find her because we had another order for her, and they were like, "Where'd she go?"
I hated Miss Ming. I gave her 5 samples before she finally started to buy from us because I kept trying, and then she's like,
smart, man.
"This is crap,"
Miss
and
Ming
then she
knows
sent
what's
me
up.
away.
Yeah, she knows.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, just some of the moments in this game lend themselves to. It's just a fun game, guys. That's plain and simple. It's just a fun game. Now, I will say this because I always like to bring up what doesn't work in a game or where, what's not the best. And Ace, you and I hit this last night, actually, where we had hopped back in. We were playing. We're manufacturing meth. We've got 2 dealers at this point. We're laundering our money. We bought a car. Like, there's all these things that you can do. But at one point, we kind of just went, it's a grind at this point, man.
Yeah, we
it's
just went,
grind.
I'm done. It's grindy now.
Yeah, like that is the ultimate wall that you will run into with any kind of game like this. I mean, Pal World, I mean, any game, Rust. I mean, it is the nature of these types of games that it's like, yes, there is still progression. There was a lot of progression that we hadn't hit yet. I mean, there are giant Beverly Hills mansions that you can get. You can start to buy weapons and kind of do what you want with the weapons in the game.
We'd only begun to launder money. I mean, we didn't even get to the final drug.
Right. Yes. There's multiple different drugs that you can make, and we were only on 2 out of 3, and there's definitely more coming too. But that's where we just kind of hit the wall, and we went, look, we have had a ton of fun in this game, but if we're going to keep trying to progress, it's just going to get grindy because we have to make a lot of money to move to the next level. We're going to get a couple of upgrades along the way, but is it really something we want to dump another 6 or 7 hours into just to say we've made it to the next step in this game? Or do we want to go play Marvel Rivals and get ready for season 2? And we kind of went, let's go play Marvel Rivals. Like we've put enough into this game at this point. Ryan, do you kind of feel this? Now, I know you didn't get as much playtime as Ace and I did, but I mean, you got a lot, but can you kind of see that?
Yeah, I think there's that spot where, one of the big things I think with this game is it puts you in a realm where the vast majority of people playing are never going to experience this thing, and that's what's kind of fun about it.
Right.
Just like GTA. Yeah. I'm not going to go around and drive my car crazy and shoot and do heists and do all these things, but that's why it's fun. So at some point, you have to have that carrot keep being enticing. And with GTA, different heists, you're like, okay, it's always fun to rob people and do heists. Doing the grindy kind of work and just trying to get to the next level of making the next drug or whatever, it's at some point you run into a lull. So if they're able to make it more enticing, I think they'll have something pretty substantial there. But there's definitely a wall you hit where, okay, I got this many percentage of the drugs. Do you said, do I really want to spend another 6 hours to try to get to the next level? So yeah, I definitely see how the grind can kind of catch up to where you lose a little bit of that enticement to just keep hustling, man, because that's what you do in this game. You're just a hustler.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally what you do is you're growing and you're hustling it, you're manufacturing it and you're hustling it, you're buying that next upgrade, that next house for more space. And I mean, even with our house that we were in, we were kind of running low on room already because you're just scaling everything up at that point, So to me, that is the number one drawback for this game. And it's not specific to Schedule 1 necessarily, but I feel like I hit that wall with this game pretty hard as far as okay, well, we've kind of seen most of the content at this point. Yeah. Now, the game is in early access, and so they have a roadmap. There's all kinds of content. I mean, while we were playing, they released a big patch and stuff like that. But it is the nature of it that you're just going to hit that grind wall. And if you're okay with that, there's plenty to do. But if you're not okay with it, then that's probably where you're going to go, all right, I'm just going to put this game down for a while now.
So now, did you guys see in that update or any of the potential future stuff, is it because one of my biggest gripes by far is not having the dedicated server stuff?
That's
Is that potentially coming up? Did you guys see that at all? I haven't
seen anything about that, unfortunately.
No, so that was one, because I know I personally, I've been working 7 days a week, for the last 2 months, and I'm dying here, but I'd try to hop on and they'd be playing, and I'd be so jealous because they're just talking about all the drugs they're making in the Discord, and I'm stuck at work, and then I'd get home late, and I can't just go hop on. Josh is asleep, and I can't go hop on and do my thing. So for me, that was by far and away my biggest hang up, because I want to play this game, but I don't want to start my own when I have it with you guys and just kind of rerun the stuff I've been running. So that was a big issue. I mean, I would even financially like, okay, $5 a month for some server access. You know, I would 100% do that. So that's something that I hope they implement in the future. I think it'll help them.
I would imagine they would. That seems like a pretty critical thing in a game like this, because like you said, if you're playing with us and we're advanced and we have 15 hours into this game, and then you're like, well, I feel like playing, and you hop into your own world, you're starting from scratch because you're not playing on my world at that point. And so
you are no longer part of the Romaine Empire at that point.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So anything else that didn't really work for you guys as far as gameplay or just elements of the game?
I have one massive gripe with this game, and it's the map.
The map is
the map.
terrible, dude.
Yeah, it's really bad.
We would unlock new regions. It'd be like, oh, you unlocked Midtown. You unlocked downtown.
I still don't know where Midtown is.
Where is Midtown?
Yes. I'm with you, Ace.
Is that where they filmed the Minecraft movie?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Don't start.
Oh, no. Yeah, the map is atrocious. It's trying to, I mean, you do kind of learn your way around some of the sections in the map, but then like you said, when you progress far enough, you unlock a new section or zone of the map. And it's like, there's new clientele, there's new shops, there's new everything that you're supposed to be able to do here. But like part of the gatekeeping in this game is like, if you go up to somebody on the street and you try to give them a free sample, it'll be like, read it out to where it's like, you must unlock the docks sector first. And then I'm like, why do I have to unlock the docks to be able to offer this guy a free sample kind of thing? But that's
we're already breaking the law. Like, why can't I can sling my drugs wherever, bro. What are you trying to tell me where I can go?
What do you mean I'm not cool enough to talk to you, Crazy Dave?
Yeah. So, all right, guys. So as we're wrapping up here, this game is in early access. Is there a feature other than a better map and Ryan dedicated servers? Is there a feature or something that you hope to see that would just blow this game out of the water for you?
I would like to see rival drug dealers in the game that you could come across, and they'd be like, "Hey, you're on my turf."
Other players.
Yeah,
like,
other players. Yeah, that'd be great.
With other people's worlds, and then now we've got an actual, we're fighting over territory and an empire with your friends. That,
bring it
to
on,
me,
baby. Bring it on.
That would be really cool, especially if they did it kind of like remember San Andreas, where you'd get your green turf and you could take over different quadrants or areas. Like if you had your turf, and then they had their turf, and then people could venture over, you could try to steal their clientele over to yours and stuff, and then you could have beef with each other, and that would be really neat. Honestly, I think there's so much available content like that they could branch out to. There's no reason that this game shouldn't get even better in the future. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do.
Is it worth the $20 price tag in your opinion? And quantify that with if you're playing solo or if you're playing with friends.
I think with friends, it's absolutely worth the $20. I haven't played it enough solo to say whether or not it'd be worth the $20. I don't think I'd enjoy it near as much solo. I think it would I would burn out on it a lot faster, having to do all of the work myself, up to the trimming, the packing, and the running until you unlock Benji. It's just like. And then I also probably would never remember to buy seeds because Josh bought all the seeds.
Yeah,
Josh did. He was always like, "We need more seeds.
Hey,
we need more seeds."
Everybody's got their role, Yeah, I was the seed go getter, man, because nothing's happening if you ain't growing, man.
Yeah,
you were pretty.
We're almost out, guys. Guys, I need extra money. I'm gonna make a big order, and then Josh would come back, and our racks would just be racks on racks on racks of seeds, and I'm like, dang,
if you
man,
ain't growing, you ain't showing or something. I don't know. That's probably not the right.
I don't know if that's correct.
That may not be the right saying.
Hold on. Did you dip into our stash, bro?
That might not be the right saying there.
You don't get high on your own supply. What are you doing?
Well, there also was the fact in game every time we unlocked a new strain, we were like, all right, boys, time to toast.
We did toast together. When we got the new house, we were by the lake, and we're like, all right, let's go, That was
you missed it. My character tried the meth in the game because I was like, can you do this? And you can. And your guy gets cracked out, dude. Like everything in the world starts vibrating. Like all the images start vibrating and stuff, and you just hear this constant like like while you're
so
playing, and
out
I
of
was
it.
like, Ace, I'm so tweaked out right now, man. I don't know when this is gonna stop.
I'm so scared right now.
Oh my
It's like
god.
he's coming at us. No.
Get in the car. We're gonna run over a cop.
So is this game a must play for people? I mean, we're talking about it. It's taken the internet by storm. Is this like people should absolutely play this? What are your overall thoughts on the game? AKA rating on the game.
I think this game is just as addicting as the drugs you sell in it. And if you've got a good friend group and a consistent friend group who likes to play online with you all the time, you absolutely should pick this game up and play with them. Just have a good time making drugs with your friends. I mean, what's the deal?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I think even literally one other person, you'll have so much fun. Like, I don't know exactly how fun it'll be on your own. I think it's still pretty solid, and it would be a good time, just to mess around. But like, just hearing you and Ace, like I said earlier, talking like drug talk was worth the price of admission, dude. $20, like, for that all day long. But with one or two people, even, however many you can fit in a server, it's definitely one of those that it's not a lot of money. You'd pay that much to go to a movie. You're going to get a lot more time out of this than a movie. So, all the way, definitely pick it up and just have a good time. Real quick, I was, before I forget, because I have a horrible memory. Maybe it's because I was dipping at our stash too, but I was picking up stuff from my supplier, my distributor for work, not that kind of supplier. And I mentioned something to a guy that I've been talking to for a couple years about video games. And I just said something about Schedule 1, and like 3 of our other shop workers came, you guys play Schedule 1? And they came over and we all talked Schedule 1 for like 15, 20 minutes. They're like,
That's
oh my gosh.
awesome.
And I was like, Keith, am I right? And they're like, yeah, Keith. And so it's definitely taking the world by storm, and it's for good reason. I think it's a solid game.
Yeah, my opinion on this is grab a friend. Just find one other person to play with, and you will have an absolute blast with this game. I personally highly recommend getting a coworker involved in this game so that when you're at work, you can be like, hey, dude, you think we're going to be able to make meth tonight? What about, like, do you think, like, because I mean, we've got the oven, we've got the mixing station, but we really need to kind of upgrade to meth at this point. My buddy Matt and I were talking about this at my job, and it was funny because we were just going into the OG Kush, the green crack, the meths on our horizon and stuff, and people were looking at us like, what are you guys talking about?
I love that this game could bring that just into casual conversation.
For $20, it is hard to beat the amount of fun that you can have in this game. The progression loop will absolutely keep you interested. For long enough to get your money's worth out of it by far. I don't think it's a great game solo unless you are the kind of person that just loves a grindy type game. I mean, I say grind sometimes has a negative connotation to it, but there is always something for you to be working on and doing. If you like that, then maybe playing solo, is fine for you. But this is one of those ones where it's so much better with somebody else to play with and just kind of share it with as well. So, all right, guys, any other thoughts on Schedule 1?
I think we hit everything of importance.
Play it. That's my thought.
There you go. That's
for $20. It's well worth it. There is a reason that this game is so highly rated on Steam. There's really very little to not like about it. There is a lot to like about it. You will absolutely laugh. You will absolutely play way too long. I mean, it was that one of those games where it's like my wife's waiting on me. We're gonna watch a show, and I'm like, hang on. I gotta go. I gotta go sell these like 9 baggies to people, And then before you know it, Ace is like, Josh, we're out of seeds. And then I'm like, okay, hang on. I just gotta go get another order of seeds, okay? And then it's like we can do that, and Ace is like, hey, can you stop by and pick up some more baggies because we can't package it? And I'm, okay, baby, give me 5 minutes. I gotta get more baggies,
Trash can's full. I need some trash bags.
Yeah, there's always something to do, man.
Don't sleep on the trash, by the way. You can make a lot of money doing the trash.
Yeah, we left that up. But if you burn trash, you can get a lot of money.
You can pick up trash for money, too, if you're really hard up. Yeah, so... All right. Well, listen, everybody, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive of Schedule 1. If you are not already following this podcast, please take a second to look at your podcast app, hit that plus button, hit that follow button. Make sure you get all of our episodes the day that they release. If you love the show and you love the content and you want to keep it flowing and you want some really cool perks, you can support the podcast over at multiplayersquad.com. You can sign up for as little as $5 a month. It's nothing. And it really does go a long way to helping the podcast keep pumping out the content. If you are not aware, we are on video. We have video on YouTube. We are video on Spotify. So if you listen on Spotify, you get to see our young, handsome faces, and all the stupid reactions.
I feel like I need to go twerk now.
Yeah, I know. No. But yes, and we have really been focusing on a lot of social media content. So if you are not following us on social media, you are missing out. We are everywhere at Video Gamers Pod, so make sure you follow us there also. That's gonna do it for this one. Until next time, happy gaming.
Don't cross me, Keith. I'll find you. See ya.
Peace out.